Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists of pointless things, where we fly and buy a pointless statue in Booty Bay, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 are the Blood Venom Slime Slaves, and these can be found at Blood Venom Post in Fellwood, and these were former inhabitants and guards of the post that were mutated by the experiments of Winna Hazard, and so you can go here in Classic WoW and see all the people at Blood Venom Post without slimes on their head, and Winna Hazard is actually the one in Classic WoW that gave you the quest to turn her kitten into a corrupted cat by giving it some flask, so she's the one responsible for all of the slime slaves currently just wandering about the forest. And strangely enough, according to Wowpedia, while the inhabitants of the original pre-Cataclysm Blood Venom Post were many different races, the slime slaves seem to only be Tauren. So I don't know why the slimes only picked Tauren, or like maybe everybody else fled or they died. Who knows? But when I saw these slime slaves, I was like, dude, what is happening? It's such a weird mob to see in World of Warcraft, and so that's why I had to put it at number 10. 9. Number 9 is a soot-stained enforcer, and he is an ogre that is just doing sit-ups. And I remember when I first saw this, I was like, wait, what? Is he just doing sit-ups? And it turns out, yeah, he's just doing sit-ups. Now, I do think it's funny, he's just kind of doing the dance animation, but they like laid him down, so it looks like he's doing sit-ups. So I think they just had a fun time with, you know, development being like, it's kind of like he's doing sit-ups. Let's just put that in the game, and he'll be saying a bunch of random quotes like, what after one? Another one. This harder than I thinked. How many's tree? And there's also an ogre that just like walks over here, and he's just like, yeah, he's still doing sit-ups. I even thought it was funny, if you look up the soot-stained enforcers on Wowpedia, it just says, enforcers are ogres located at the soot-stained mining camp in Frostfire Ridge. One of them is doing sit-ups. And so, not only is it pretty funny, but it made me be like, what? What is happening? And so that's why the soot-stained enforcer is number 9. 8. Number 8 is Jerome, and Jerome is a blood elf that hangs outside of Silvermoon City in Eversong Woods, and I remember first seeing this guy way back when, and I was like, what is happening here? Because you talk to him, and he says, finally, someone came down to talk to me. Want to hear some of my rhymes? And you can either say no, or you can say yes, in which he says, walking down the street, looking at my feet, watching the leaves fall off of the trees. And it just feels like the ramblings of a madman. It's just like, what is happening here? Who is this? And so it turns out this is actually a reference to Blizzard developers. So Brian Morris Rowe is the lead interior artist for Blizzard, and his employee Jeremy Graves is a Dungeon City artist, at least they used to be. The reason for the rhymes is due to Jeremy having a knack for karaoke, rapping to the beats of popular rappers such as Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Eminem, and worker Morris Rowe is a blood elf in Silvermoon City trying to rebuild it, and he is with the Silvermoon Builders Association, and Jerome is his minion. So this is all just a reference to Brian Morris Rowe, who was the lead interior artist, and then his employee, who is essentially Jerome in the game. But either way, when I first saw this, I was just confused, and I was like, what? And so that's why it's number 8. 7. Number 7 is Niden, and Niden is a sea giant located in the Coral Forest in Nazjatar. And I remember first seeing Niden, and I didn't know what he was doing. I thought he was just like stirring some soup or something, and then I realized he's got this mortar and pestle, and really the mortar and pestle are just like big shells, which I think is pretty funny. But you can talk to him, and he says, Niden likes to smash things. Niden gets to do the things he likes now. And so really, he's just helping to make kelpberry wine. And later on, you say, could you please do some smashing for the kelpberry wine quest? And he says, friend leave berries, take cask, smashing is good, you should try it. And so I didn't even realize this until I looked it up, but his name is actually a reference to kneading, like when you knead dough. And I don't know why, because it seems like the definition of kneading is to work into dough or paste with hands, and he's kind of using a mortar and pestle, so I feel like he's not really kneading anything, so I don't know why they didn't go with something else. Like, they should have named him Morpest for mortar and pestle. Morpest. There you go, that's his new name, Morpest. But anyway, I didn't expect to stumble upon this guy, and when I did, I was like, what's going on? And so that's why Morpest is number 7. 6. Number 6 is Naked Millhouse Manastorm. That's right, Naked Millhouse Manastorm, and he's located in Dornegal in the new big city of War Within, and he's kind of in these hidden tunnels in this weird underground cave, and you open a door and it leads to this weird Hearthstone reference tavern with bartender Bob from Hearthstone Battlegrounds and Valera is playing against Milhouse, and there's some other characters around. And if you talk to Milhouse, he's just like, I don't want to talk about it. But if you talk to Valera, she has a quest, and she explains that she has taken Milhouse for all he's worth, so she's pretty much won all of his clothes, he's lost all of his money, and she ends up offering you the spell Tome of Polymorph Moss Wool. So it's a way to get a new polymorph as a mage. And I actually read an interesting comment on Wowhead that mentions that Milhouse Mana Storm has been in every WoW expansion except Wrath of the Lich King. And so he kind of just keeps returning as a running gag character. And out of all the appearances, I think Naked Milhouse Mana Storm might be one of the weirdest. And so that's why he's number 6. 5. Number 5 is Chemos, and Chemos is a steward located in Heroes Rest in Bastion. And Chemos actually changed a bit since I wanted to record him, but previously he used to just have his hammer, and so you would see him sweeping with his hammer, and you were like, wait, what is he doing? He's just sweeping with a hammer? And it was really funny. But now they've given him a broom, but he still has his hammer. So now he's actually doing work with the broom, but he still has his hammer, like, just engraved into this thing. So I don't know if the hammer is actually part of the broom now, or he's just made a broom out of the hammer. Maybe he just glued like 2 sticks on top of that. I have no idea, but it's still pretty funny. But you are able to select Chemos as your steward of Heroes Rest, and a lot of people selected him just because he was sweeping with a hammer, and I couldn't even find him for a while. It turns out I had to like do a bunch of quests, and it was dumb. I had to go back to Shadowlands. Let me tell you, it was not a great experience, but we found him, we figured it out, and that's why Chemos is number 5. 4. Number 4 are the human seedlings, and the human seedlings are the unfortunate survivors of the Hillsbrad fields who are now buried in the sludge fields. And there's a quest called Do the Right Thing, and it says, you have come upon a horrific scene. Someone or something has buried all of the humans up to their necks in a manner consistent with planting. The ghouls, which are seemingly tending the field to human seedlings, periodically jump to the nearest human and devour its head. You can end this right here and now. Take this shovel and save the humans. And so you can go up to the human heads and you either bash their head in with a shovel or pull them out of the dirt. And this is definitely one of the things that you see for the first time, and you're just like, dude, what is going on here? There are literal human heads like planted in the ground. I guess the humans are planted and the head is like they're sprouting in a way, but this is just such a weird quest. You know what I mean? I was going to put this in creepy things in World of Warcraft. I still might when I do the creepy things for Halloween, but I think the human seedlings have definitely earned their spot at number 4. 3. Number 3 are the Leper Gnome Laborers, and these are leper gnomes located in the Sanctum in Silvermoon City. They are being forced to work by Serignano, I think that's how you say her name, Serignano, who is a succubus that essentially overlooks the entire sweatshop operation that's going on here. And funnily enough, this place is called Colleen's Trustworthy Tailoring Shop, and any place that calls themselves trustworthy is instantly untrustworthy. And by the way, Keelan's name is Keelan Sheets, which I think is a reference to clean sheets, if I had to take a wild guess. But yeah, this place is actually insane. Like, the succubus is just going up and whipping the gnomes. There's like leper gnomes in cages. They have a bunch of money and gold on the table to show that they're clearly profiting off the sweatshop work of the leper gnomes. And it's just crazy. This is not something you expect to find, I'll tell you that much. And so that's why the leper gnome laborers are number 3. 2. Number 2 is Marcus the Paladin, and Marcus the Paladin is found leaving the tent with a sleeping Tauren couple in it named Tanda Freeseeker and Bax Freeseeker, and as he's walking out, he says, well, that was certainly unexpected. And there's also a steamy chest on the ground of the tent next to the sleeping Tauren couple. And so putting all the puzzle pieces together here, it seems like the Paladin and the Tauren couple did some stuff, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. But it turns out that Marcus is actually the main character of the erotic steamy romance novel series, and Marcus has had flings with the human mage Nani, the Forsaken rogue Atusa, the gnome warlock Tavi, and the Draenei Sula. And so if you want to go find any of these stories, they're all in game and they're all a part of a steamy romance novel. So if you just look up a steamy romance novel, you can probably go find all the locations, and the one for this specific scenario with the Tauren is called Got Milk. And so that reason alone alone definitely puts this at number 2. And number 1 is Jogu the Drunk, and Jogu the Drunk is a Jinyu and a member of the Tillers, but despite his near constant inebriation, he is a value member of the Tillers due to his ability to predict what crops will grow best on any given day. And when I first saw Jinyu back in the day, I was like, dude, it's just a drunk fish guy walking around and you have to buy him alcohol to help your crops grow. Like, this is this is such a weird character. Like, what's going on? But if you go around the town and talk to some people like Water Taster Cruishell, they say, our brother over there drowns his sorrows in apathy and wine instead of work and toil. Jogu's from a different tribe than us. He came far from the north and will not speak much of what led him here. And in a quest, A Gift for Jogu, Andy says, sometimes I feel sad for Jogu. He's the only Jinyu around, and I don't think he has any friends, other than his smelly bottle, of course. It also seems like Jogu lost his family, because if you do the Dish for Jogu quest, he says, my family used to make this. They're gone now, but I still love this dish. And so I think a lot of people saw Jogu and they're like, he's just some drunk fish that gives you crop predictions, right? But he actually has a much sadder, depressing backstory, and he just wants friends. So I was like, you know what? The least I could do is put him at number 1 on my pointless list, and that's why Jogu the Drunk is number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. If you want more Top 10s, you go watch NPCs you forgot about. I guarantee you forgot about at least one of those NPCs. Or you could go watch Creepiest NPCs if you're in more of a Halloween type mood. Also, consider supporting the channel over on patreon.com/crendor or by becoming a channel member. Okay? Okay. See ya.